Audi Q7 professional dash camera installation. We're going to show you how we remove the housing behind the rearview mirror, how we take apart the A-pillar, how we do the hard wiring of the dash camera, how we run the wires from the front to the back of the vehicle, how we remove the B-pillar, which is very tricky, how we run the rear camera cable into the hatch, how we actually mount the rear camera and mount the front camera. Let's go. Okay, so we're going to start with removing the actual housing behind the rearview mirror, and we're going to use our 4140 panel popper tool. And I like to actually just loosen the sides up. It just makes it a little bit easier. So we want to put our panel popper at the top left and then the top right, because that's where the actual two clips are, as you can see in the diagram being shown right here. And we actually have to pull it away from the windshield in order to actually unclip it, put the rearview mirror down. That way we can slide it out without making any kind of damage. And as you can see, there are the clips and the panel completely removed. So we can actually start running our wiring for the dash camera with the rear camera cable and the power cable attached. Okay, so we got our harness that's been prepped, and we're going to tuck it in here. And as you can see, it is very tight. And if you know anything about Audi, BMW, Volkswagen vehicles, typically it's a very tight headliner. So you really have to be patient with running the wiring. Especially, there's a lot of people who won't install viofo dash cameras because they say the wiring is too thick. Same with like the ThinkWare U3000 cable. The rear camera cable is also very thick. But as you can see, we're able to pull back on the headliner, and we're able to tuck the wiring in. And we've also test taped it very nicely, so it looks very nice and clean. But we're going to kind of give you a nice view here, just showing you how you can't see the wiring and how it's all tucked in. And we're going to continue working our way over to the A-pillar by first dismantling the A-pillar and taking that apart. Okay, to begin removing the A-pillar, we need to use our panel popper tool to actually pop off the airbag cover. So as we take off the airbag cover, you can see, very simple as that, we're now going to need a Torx. And I can't remember, it was a T20 or a T25. Don't quote me on it, but it's one of those two sizes. And we actually have to put it in and remove it. Now, luckily there's a little tray in there, so it's not going to fall down into the dash. But you are going to need to make sure to watch it when you completely remove the A-pillar off later. Or you can use a little magnet adapter in order to actually extract it out of there early, so you don't have to worry about it falling within the dash. So as you can see, I used our little panel popper tool just to kind of loosen it up a little bit. However, there still is two clips in behind the dash there, in behind the A-pillar there. And it is very tight in order to get at it. You have to be very careful because of the airbag. Unfortunately, it's really hard to navigate doing this and giving you a visual view of the airbag, but you're going to see it after we have the A-pillar removed. You will see the airbag and get an idea of what you're working with. Now, in order for us to fully remove the A-pillar, we do need to remove the side panels off the side of the actual dash. And so, because the actual side of the dash actually has two panels that are actually clipping directly into the actual A-pillar. So we're going to go and remove off the side panel of the dash, just using our panel popper tool. This is quite easy. This panel is very easy. And just so you know, it's exposing the fuses. So if you are looking to use fuse taps for a dash camera, which we don't use on the Audi vehicles, that is something you can actually look at doing. And you have to pry up at the bottom of this specific panel in order to actually loosen it from the A-pillar. If you do from the top, you will actually break that panel that we just removed. So now we can actually remove the A-pillar completely off. And one of the actual clips is still stuck into the body, which we're going to remove later with our panel popper tool and put it on. And that is the Torx that we removed from the A-pillar in order to fully loosen it at the top of the A-pillar. So that is the back side of the A-pillar, and you can see there where the two clips are, and the top where it actually screws in with the Torx. And typically we take the panel and we go put it in when we're working on a hatch vehicle, we go and put it in the hatch. That way we don't damage it or cause any challenges with it. And we also typically put the Torx nut with it as well. And as you can see, that's the clip that's still left in there. So luckily we were able to take it out. Some of these Audi vehicles, Mercedes, BMW vehicles, for instance, Volkswagen vehicles, some of them are easier to get the clips out. Some of them are very hard. Like my Volkswagen ID4, very big pain in the butt. So as you can see, we're going to continue moving around because we actually have the dashes loose because we have the A-pillar and everything. We're able to reach out. And as you can see, you can't see any wiring at all. We have it completely hidden all the way from the dash cameras mounted over to the A-pillar. And in behind there, that's actually the water line, the big red line that you can see. But in behind that, there's a channel. So we're able to actually take the power cord for the viofo HK4 and tuck it all into that channel. And we're now running the rear camera cable in behind the airbag. That way we're not interfering with it at all, and it's done completely safe. Now, most technicians won't take off the B pillar. The B pillar is where the seatbelt actually hooks up. And the reason why they won't take it off is because it is very hard to take off. And this is also the number one reason why they can't run the rear camera cables in these vehicles, because they can't tuck it in at the top. So what we do is actually remove the B pillar. Now, here's a little trick we're going to show you. This one here, the Audi Q7, some of the other vehicles actually have a rear heater right there. And you actually have to loosen that clip by pushing down on it. It's very hard to get the camera in to show you pushing down on it, but we have to push down on that clip in order to remove the rear heater. And now you can see it's popped out and the clip's right there at the top, and we have it completely removed. So now all we have to do is take our hands and actually pull it right off of the B pillar. And make sure that you do this first, otherwise you will damage it. I have damaged these. I've had to spend a half an hour putting these things back together. It does happen occasionally. Sometimes someone else was in there and damaged them. It's not fun to try and fix. And it just unclips pretty easily with just like a standard German connector that they like to use. And so nothing really too special there. So now we have to actually put our panel popper tool back in there and loosen the clip that holds the other side of the B pillar in place. And once we loosen that, you're going to see just how quickly this B pillar comes off. So now we slide it down. We just have to massage it side to side. And as you can see, there's the seatbelt completely exposed. And what I'm holding onto is little clips there. Those are the clips that actually gets pushed in order to loosen the B pillar at the bottom. And now we can easily run our rear camera cable. And we're actually also able to see the airbag. You can see it completely exposed up top there. And we're able to actually just push the cabling up high in behind the airbag nice and safely. This is very important for when we're actually doing the installation, and it makes it easier to actually run the rear camera cable on these vehicles. Now, if you've never taken this part off, I will tell you it is very tricky to get put back on the B pillar because you need to line it up with the seatbelt. But as you can see, I'm just using my panel popper tool, and I'm continuously moving the cable from the front to the back of the vehicle by going directly behind. Now, I will tell you, we couldn't really get a good camera angle in to get the rear portion here but I will tell you, it is very tricky to actually get the cable in there. So if you are going to do it yourself, you're definitely going to have some fun with it. And I mean, with my 5 years of focusing on just doing dash cameras and 25 years of being in the car audio and aftermarket space, I will be honest, it's probably taken me 3 to 4 years of working on dash cameras to figure out how I did that. So now we're going to put the B pillar back on, and you have to slide it back up. You need to line it in place. And the tricky part of this is, like I said, is lining up the seatbelt adapter there, right? So that you can do your seatbelt up and down. That's a tricky part. And I'll be honest, I've screwed it up a few times. And even when I put it on this vehicle, I actually had to take it off once in order to actually reintegrate it again. So when you're actually, when you are going to line it up, you're going to have to take a look, and there's like a little hole that lines up with the top of the seatbelt. And once you see that it actually lines up with that, you can put it in place. But I do recommend actually pushing the actual seatbelt adjuster and making sure, as you can see there, it's not moving up and down because I screwed up and made a mistake. So I actually had to take it apart again and redo it, which I skipped over that because I didn't want to bore you with the details, but you need to make sure to get that lined up properly. Otherwise, it's not going to go up and down. And you're going to have a customer that's upset if you're a professional installer or if you did it for a friend. I mean, last thing you want is them to go, hey, my seatbelt's stuck at one setting, and you trying to tell them it is what it is. That's not really cool. So as you can see, it's all put back in place. The B pillar, it's all proper. Cabling's all hidden in behind, right? And the seatbelt goes up and down. 100%, that's how you want it done. And all the cabling is hidden, going all the way from the A pillar to the back of the vehicle. And as you can see, we come out back all the way near the rear of the vehicle. So we have very little to actually put back to get it all the way to the hatch. Okay, we're going to start with the rear disassembly of the hatch. And this is a little channel that actually covers the wiring that goes directly into the hatch with the factory wiring. And we're going to run our rear dash cam wiring with it. And as you can see, these are the two clips in the picture there. Unfortunately, my hand is covering one of the clips, but you need to actually move them off slowly in order to actually remove that panel. And as you can see, we now have the panel off, easy peasy. And now we can actually go ahead by using my wire tool to run the wires through from the interior directly in next to the channel that goes into the hatch area. And we're just going to make sure to remove all that extra wiring. And then we need to actually take off this panel cover. A little trick, you need a little pick tool to actually take off that little plastic cover. And a lot of people don't realize there's actual Torx right in behind there. And if you don't take that off, and I'll be honest, a few years ago, I didn't know there was an actual Torx in behind there. So luckily now you take that off and it makes it a lot easier to remove that paneling. You take your panel popper tool and you slowly massage it back and forth, and then you can unclip all the clips so that you can actually take off that beauty cover so that you can run your cabling directly in for the rear camera cable. So we're going to tie strap to the factory wiring in there. Make sure there's a little bit of slack because you got to remember this is a power tailgate and it's going to be going up and down. And the last thing you actually want is for a wire to get snagged or you have any issues. So we're just going to run the wire right through there because we just want to have a little bit of slack, and then all the wiring is pretty much hidden directly behind the metal paneling. We're going to take all our extra and tie strap it all up and hide it directly in the hatch. A lot of people like to hide it up top in the headliner. I like to hide it in the hatch, especially on a hatch of vehicles. So now we can put the panel cover back on. We can put our Torx bit back in place and then put the beauty cover back on over top of the little Torx bit. It is very small, so I did use like my panel popper tool just to clip it completely back in place again. And then we can put that cover back on that hides all the wiring going directly into the hatch. And now we're going to go through on trying to mount the rear camera, and we're going to get our actual antiseptic wipes, completely clean the rear hatch and mount the rear camera in the center of the vehicle and tuck all the excess wiring in. And as you can see, it's all clipped back into place, looking the same as factory and nicely done through the channel. You can't see any excess wiring. Nice and clean installation. Okay, so now we're going to go for the power connections, and there's 3 8mm bolts that actually need to be removed, and then we're able to drop the dash. Unfortunately, due to the camera angles, I couldn't give you full video showing how we fully removed the dash. Sorry about that. We're going to have to find that. You're going to have to find that somewhere else, unfortunately. So anyways, as you can see, we go to the back side of the OBD2 connector, and we go to pin 1 for ignition, pin 4 for ground, and pin 16 for constant power. And for doing 3-wire dash cameras, we always find this is the safest way to do Volkswagen, Audi, and Porsche vehicles. We've never had any issues doing it this way, and it's always been one of the safest way for us. Now, if you wanted to use fuse taps, there are fuse locations in this vehicle, but it's not something that we typically do here at Safe Drive Solutions. And as you can see, I'm actually soldering all 3 connections. I'm going to then take our 3M electrical tape and completely tape it up, all 3 connections. And then we're going to take our Tessa tape. Tessa tape is the same stuff they use on all the German vehicles. And we're going to tape it up and make it look like it's factory and like it was 100% meant to be there. So as you can see, nice and clean. We're actually tie strapping it up. And that's the big thing, is trying to make it look like it's factory, like it was meant to be there. So this is all our excess wire from the Viofo hardwire kit. And as you can see, we put some tie straps on it. We're tie strapping it up, and we're making sure to tuck in any extra cabling into the kick panel to make sure that it's all hidden and out of the way. And then we're clipping back in the OBD2 connector back into place. And we have to actually lift it up to actually plug in the final connection, and we put the panel back up. And now we're going to put the A-pillar back in place, make sure it's clipped in, and then we have to take our Torx and put in that T20 or T25 bolt that I can't remember exactly the exact size. But anyways, we're putting that back in, put the airbag cover back on, and put our side panels back onto the actual dash. And now we're reverse putting the housing behind the rear view mirror back into place, which is quite simple, and powering up the Viofo dash camera. So now we have it powered up. We're cleaning the windshield with our antiseptic wipes again and drying it with some paper towel or Kleenex and doing the final mounting application of the 3M tape. And then we're actually going to take it off the mount and push hard on the actual GPS mount, which also has the power connection. That way we can make sure that the 3M makes really good adhesion to the windshield, because really we don't want it falling off or having any issues like that down the road. So now that we have that powered up, we can go in and do our final settings with our actual Wi-Fi app when we do the final connections and final setup of the Viofo dash camera in this Audi Q7. There you have it. Audi Q7 finished for a front and rear dash camera installation. And as you can see, there's the Viofo A229 Plus mounted in the front and the rear camera mounted on the rear hatch. And as we get in from the driver's side, you can see the Viofo A229 Plus powered up. Audi Q7 finished. I hope you enjoyed our video on professional dash camera installation in this Audi Q7. If you do have any questions and comments, please leave them down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you are looking to support us in any way, we do supply and install dash cameras in Greater Vancouver or Greater Toronto area. We also sell dash cameras directly on our website, safedrivesolutions.com. Thanks again.